Thank you once again for making Locked On Cougars your first listen of the day. Hope you all are doing well out there in Cougar Nation. What a time to be alive as a Cougar fan, isn't it? Now, the fun part about this is we are seeing guys emerge for BYU that are absolutely critical to what they've accomplished so far, and fingers crossed that they're critical to BYU's success going forward here in the Sweet 16. One of them is a guy that, yes, I have been fairly roasted for a take I had going into the tournament. He has made a believer out of me, and that is Egor Demin. He has been absolutely masterful. I think it was Dan Jimenez from Chatbooks who tweeted at me during the game on Saturday and used the term "Tournament Egor has arrived," and he used a little TM like where it's trademarked with it. Trademark it all you want because Egor Demin has arrived on a national scene. Now, some of you are lamenting this in some small part, saying, "Wow, with the way he's playing right now, it's probably going to be impossible to keep him at BYU." That's beside the point right now. Enjoy the ride while it lasts because Egor Demin has arrived in a major way. And if BYU wants to accomplish what they hope to accomplish, he will continue to need to do that because he has been a guy, let's be honest, most of the season who's had a big game and then has gone quiet for a little bit. And that was the concern. Is there a consistency factor that is lacking from Egor Demin? To his credit, under the brightest lights of the entire season, NCAA tournament, there's no bigger lights, no bigger stage in all of college basketball than what Egor Demin is facing right now. And he is acing it and he is absolutely killing it right now. Jeff Hansen put this out a Saturday night, and he's right about this. Egor Demin has had one hell of an NCAA tournament, 26 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists, 5 turnovers, and he's 5 of 13, most importantly, from beyond the arc, beyond the three-point arc. That is 13 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2.5 turnovers. That is masterful numbers. He was 11-8-8 against Wisconsin. His game against VCU was awesome. He took it to another level against Wisconsin. He was really good against VCU, and he took it to another level against Wisconsin. Where can he take it to now? That's the big question mark. But even if the run ends in the near future, you cannot take away what Egor Demin has meant to BYU here in the NCAA tournament. I said I got roundly roasted for a take I had, and I apologize for it. I owned it after that VCU game. But the nice part is Egor is making believers out of multiple of us. He has arrived on a big scene, and the most important part of this is he has got people thinking, okay, this is the Egor Demin we all expected to show up for BYU. And if it continues, awesome, because that means BYU's chances of making the run we all hope they can make will continue here, and it's phenomenal to watch. He looks much more in control. He's not the so-called head case I have felt like he's been at points during this season. Coaches will tell you, and we hear it on the NCAA broadcasts of the March Madness, that by the time the tournament comes around, a lot of freshmen become what they call sophomores because they've played 30-plus games. They have been through the wars that they like to call it when it comes to college basketball. They understand the game. They understand what their coaches are asking of them. They've essentially seen every defense that can be thrown at them at that point in the season. Egor Demin has come through all of it, and he has stepped onto the court, and he has been one of, if not the best player for BYU this postseason. I get that many of you are going to be the tater tot king himself, Richie Saunders. Yeah, I can't take it away from Richie Saunders because Richie, man, what a performance he's putting on as well. And that NIL deal from Ore-Ida looks better and better the deeper we go into this tournament, but that's beside the point. Egor Demin is an 18-year-old, 6'9" point guard who's a bit of a string bean, but is proving against some of the best teams that college basketball can put against him. Great, bring it on. He grew up before our very eyes in Big 12 play, and he was even shaky then, as recently as that Houston game in the Big 12 tournament. That was like, oh, okay, he's still making some of these freshman mistakes. By and large, here in the NCAA tournament, those freshman mistakes have gone completely out of the window. And that's a credit to him as a player, obviously, understanding the moment and rising to the occasion. Because there are guys who will get on the national stage when it comes to the NCAA tournament, and they will cower away. And that, it happens. We have seen it happen so many times. And it's sad to watch it because you feel for the kid. You're like, if I could find a place, a hole for you to bury yourself in, I'd love to do that. Conversely, there are guys who, when the lights, as I mentioned, get the brightest that they get, because the NCAA tournament has the entire nation captivated, There are guys who rise to the occasion, and for every Bryce Drew, Jack Golke, is it Golke, the kid from Oakland last year? For every one of those guys, you get a guy that you get to root for on your own team. And we've all been lucky enough, if you're old enough, to have watched what Jimmer Fredette did back in 2011. Those of you who are a generation or two older than I am, got to watch Danny Ainge. Even older than that, Krešimir Ćosić. My grandfather, he loved what Ćosić brought to the table. We have been privileged as BYU fans for multiple generations to have guys who have emerged and done it on big stages. And right now, even though Egor's time at BYU might be relatively short compared to those guys, he is making an impression that will last at BYU with what he is doing right now in the NCAA tournament. It needs to be celebrated. It needs to be acknowledged. And truthfully, if BYU at this point wants to make it into the Elite Eight, wants to make it to the Final Four, whatever it might be, Egor Demin's got to have a leading role in that. Yes, Richie Saunders has got to be big in these games. Yes, you need to have your big men in Keba Keita and Fousseyni Traore deliver. You need to have Dallin Hall and Trevin Nell. You need to have everybody on this roster contributing. But one of the maestros of this offense is Egor Demin, and he needs to continue to build on what he is doing. Like I said, 13 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2.5 turnovers, and shooting near 50% from the three-point line. That'll do, Egor. That'll do. But can you ratchet it up even more? That's the big question. He is making himself money in the NCAA tournament right now. I said it, I think it was last week on the podcast, maybe in the week before that there will be teams who will fall in love with prospects from March Madness and draft them simply on the 3, 4, 5 games they play in the NCAA tournament. That's the wrong way to go about it if you're an NBA team. What you want is you want to see guys who got better as the season progressed, but then when like I said, the lights, I use that term a lot here, but it's true. When the lights get the brightest and you're on the biggest stage possible in college basketball, and they can already see a track record of what you've done in college basketball to that point during the season, and then you take it up another level in big time moments like the NCAA tournament offers, that's when NBA teams fall in love with you. That's when Egor Demin goes back to being a top 10, maybe a top 5 pick in the NBA draft. He is making good on everything that's been talked, said, written, crowed, whatever adjective you want. Everything that's been done and said around Egor Demin, he's delivering on it right now, and he's making believers out of all of us because he's made a believer out of me. And that for one, that needs to be celebrated. So congratulations to Egor Demin. Really, I didn't mean to take an entire segment, but I felt compelled to because he has been just awesome. He has made me a believer. And I love the fact that right now on the biggest stage that college basketball can offer, he is absolutely killing it out there. And that's going to make some NBA team, I don't want you guys to hate me for saying this, but he's going to make some NBA team think, okay, that kid's got what it takes. He's got the it factor to him. When it's time to, when it's go time, when it's the playoffs, we can count on a guy like that stepping up because he did it in college. Now can he do it in the NBA? And there will be NBA teams who are watching what Egor Demin's doing right now and say, okay, we have seen enough. We're ready to rock and roll with this kid. Let's get him into our franchise. So it's a win-win in so many different ways. Yes, BYU is going to win as a result of Egor Demin playing well. He will win as a result of seeing his draft stock rise, but also BYU will continue to win with guys like him showing out on a national stage because it's only going to help them be more attractive to talent like a Egor Demin in coming to Provo. Kevin Young will waste no expense, and he will turn over literally every stone to find talent. But the nice part is, he has proven that he can develop that talent into bona fide stars, and that is going to help BYU continue to win now and obviously on into the future, and that's a really, really fun proposition to consider.